my attention. As you can see right now, I'm in my storage room real quick. Had to pick up some things before I go out there, just in case I end up staying there. I'm already set. I ain't gotta come back and all that or whatever. So as I'm here in my storage room, something came to mind. And it was on upon mostly observation of the obvious, you want to say. And one of those things that was observation to me was, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying this, but the amount of weak, clout chasing, borderline homosexual men that we have, and the homosexual things that they say to the men, which still, for some reason or another, surprises me. See, a lot of these coons that you have that are out and about, and I'm speaking specifically to men. Ladies, there's some coonettes too, we'll get to them. But the men specifically, the men coons have a tendency, and this is how I always know they're a coon right off the top, because they always bring up this issue, I'm an alpha. Self-proclaimed, of course. They are alpha. Well, who told you this? Who told you you were alpha? I gotta ask that question. I gotta raise that question, because see, a lot of these coons, I blame Cynthia G for starting this whole thing. See, Cynthia G used to be, if y'all not familiar with Cynthia G, she used to be on her show a lot, screaming, "Oh, he just a dusty beta male," which was really an excuse for don't nobody want your unattractive ass. But some people will say she's beautiful. This has started a flurry of men online calling other men alphas and betas and all this silly shit. And in reality, most of these men are considering themselves alpha because they have a minuscule job where you see this in that thumbnail, that's who they're answering to. See, a real alpha would have, and I know this because, well, say what you want about Puff, I was hired by Alpha. That's a real alpha. Now, Puff was able to hire us. Obviously, he was able to fire us too. That's another discussion. But more importantly, he was able to hire us. Many of these coons that sit around and they make fun of other men and call men betas and all this stuff. I had a man come on my page call me a beta today. Nigga, you ain't did half the shit I've done. You ain't traveled half the places I've been. And just like I put you up in the community section, in 7 years, you can't seem to find anybody besides one person that liked it. And then when I asked you about that, only one subscriber you got, your rapport is, well, I'm not even a YouTuber. Okay. But yet you on YouTube talking about why Kevin Samuels gets the donations he gets. And I'm glad that you corrected me, because I actually think that probably was Kevin Samuels. He's the only one that's done that so far, which heightens my suspicions about him. Someone asked me about Kevin Samuels and what I thought of him. And at the time, as a man that I am, I didn't know anything about him that much, except for that video that we've all seen that went viral, right? I'm in my storage room, by the way, guys. I'm just grabbing some things in case I end up staying out there or taking off. I want to be prepared. Kevin Samuels, in my opinion, is a good dude. I'm not going to sit here and attack him like I attacked Toxic Monique. But if I had to make a guess, or Toxic Dormone, if I had to guess, that was probably Kevin Samuels with a fake account or someone of his accolades that made that comment. You cannot become an alpha male based on what you perceive and what you think an alpha male is. It doesn't work like that. An alpha male is definitive of many different things. So is an alpha female, for that matter. A lot of different things. One of those things is, it's not whether or not you go to work for Massa every day, which many of y'all think it is. Slave mentality. Many of these people, they scream out, I'm an alpha, I'm this, I'm that. Most of the time when you really break them down, and you get into the core and the cusp of who they are, they haven't done much in life. They're not very accomplished. They're boring in most cases. And the only thing they offer is their mouth. Some of these men, if you really get to talking to them, you'll see how feminine they actually are. And most of it, and ladies don't take any mind of this, but most of it's because most of them were raised by women. So I asked the question, if you were raised by all women, what the hell do you know about being a male, for starters? Two, but nobody ever taught you. And if a woman taught you how to be a man, then I have another question to pose right then and there. You know, that's a whole new set of questions right there. But I digress. A lot of these so-called alpha males in the culture are nothing but weak little boys pretending to be men. And they have some of the most feminine attributes you'll ever see in your life. I cannot tell you, and I know that a lot of people will say the same thing, oh, you're so well dressed and everything like that. Well, that's from my past work experience. I had to dress like this. That's why you can see most of my clothes in here are identical to my work structure. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. And have been for the past, I don't know, 20 plus years. I've always dressed pretty much the same. Anybody that's known me for a long time knows that. So it's not even clothes that makes you definitive as an alpha male, if you want to say. It's not the way you talk to women or how many women you got. Some of them, they try to define it as that. I got all these women, I'm an alpha, and a real alpha male go out there and hunt. Well, let me tell you something, guys. A real alpha male shuts their mouth up and knows when it's time to kick in. Know when it's time to help their people. Know when it's time to shut up in some cases. And more importantly, knows when it's time to support their women. And what I see is, not out of only Kevin Samuels, but many others, y'all get online telling these women, and y'all claim y'all alpha males, telling these women how the deuce they are, how they're not worth much, how after 35, they don't look very well, and blah, 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 blah. And you say this all as a quote unquote man of means. That's what Kevin Samuels says. He's a man of means. And many of them like him. And I'm not attacking Kevin Samuels because, like I said, I have no interest of arguing with him. I don't take passion in arguing with other men of color. I like just to get an understanding with other men of color. And the reason I like to do that, more particularly, is because I had to get my other jacket too. That other jacket was burning me up, boy. This is why I have a storage room. Kevin Samuels and many of them like him that I've heard mutter out this, I'm an alpha male, are really hiding from something else. And what they're hiding from is all their, well, in my opinion, I'm going to say all their low self-esteem balls. See, a lot of these guys have low self-esteem. A lot of these guys, and I've been around it a lot in my life, both in Connecticut, Jersey, and New York, all three, excuse me. And I've seen this many times play itself out. These men play like there's something that they're not. But when you break them down and you look at their accomplishments, you ask them where have they worked, you look at their resumes, and most of the time you'll see a whole litany of blue-collar jobs. And there's nothing wrong with having a blue-collar job or a blue-collar background. We need those workers. That's not my point. My point is, don't run around toking your chest out like you're more than what you are. Don't go out taking your chest out like your resume says more than what you are. What you're doing at that time is you're pretending and putting on a facade. And I think that's what a lot of these men out here are taking cues from now. We've got a lot of men out here nowadays, quote unquote, that have some of the most feminine attributes in the world, and at the same time they ride and say that they're alpha. No, my friend. See, a real alpha is a leader. Alpha is not only a leader, an alpha doesn't get mad very easily. An alpha doesn't say feminine stuff like, you just mad because you a beta girl. Rainbow coalition type motherfuckers. An alpha male doesn't get bothered when another male rolls past them, well, maybe better dressed than him, better looking than him, and snaps his head back like a woman, seeing another woman with the same dress on. An alpha male doesn't get online and tell men of color, you less than me. Nigga, I got this job at McDonald's right now in Tupelo, Mississippi. Comparing itself to a New York or someone in the Northeast where rents are higher, the pay is more, bills are higher, the conditioning and the background and everything that we went through here with COVID-19 and everything else, the conditions are very different here. But I'll have somebody from Tupelo, Mississippi. I had someone from Arkansas. I had someone from Kentucky. And they all point out, I'm an alpha. No, you're an alpha definitive of the area that you're in. If we were in the trailer park, there's some people in the trailer park that are calling themselves alphas. I'm an alpha. The segue to all this and this alpha beta talk all leads back to trying to be and trying to please white men. This is the pathway of the COON. Has always been the pathway of the COON. That's why I put that picture up. Well, Monsieur Candide and Stephen. Who you notice, Stephen never had a last name in the movie, did he? We'll talk about that another time. These so-called COONs don't do anything but clout chase. And that's why I put up that clip of Kevin Samuels and how many donations he had up. And then I put up another picture when I thought it was only $3,200. I had and this is what led me to believe this was actually Kevin Samuels that commented, because he said, no, it's actually $9,000 a month. And he referred to the subscribers as customers. They're customers. What are they buying? Exactly. What are they buying? What are our people buying since they're customers? You equated them to no more than going into a Chinese restaurant or a Chinese nail salon and giving them the same amount of respect. You said they are customers. That's what he wrote down. With an incredible number, like Kevin Samuels got 143,000 followers, okay? The average rapper that we pushed when we were doing marketing had 2.5 or better. But I digress. You will always have these competition-laden black men that are basically sissies. They don't want to admit it, but most of them are sissies. They're raised feminine, they act feminine, they respond feminine, and the only time they seem to have any type of, I don't know, character is when they're in the midst of a sea of white people. Oh, they know how to act well. Then that's how you can tell a COON, distinguish a COON. Take the moment that he acts with you, and then take the moment which he enacts with someone white or maybe even of another culture, and see the difference for yourself. And say to yourself, is that an alpha? Or is that a punk beta trying to pretend and act? See, I don't believe all emotions and all reactions are based on what someone else thinks. In fact, when that man made that comment to me this morning, I really didn't care. I laughed at it. I even wrote back to him, and I said in one comment, I said, a real alpha wouldn't even carry on the conversation. I don't care what you have to say. I don't measure my balance definitely by anything that you think. And more importantly enough, you haven't even asked yourself the question, are you more accomplished than me? Most of the time I find no. For obvious reasons, who I worked with, who I worked for, it's hard to top that, I get it. Papa's worth $895 million. I've had some of the best experiences in my life. I've demonstrated until you put them up and everything else. So when we do a comparison link, and we're talking about some of these men, it really boils out of jealousy. See, ladies, I hate to break this down to you, but you have raised some of the most sissy-ass men in America. And so have you single white women, and so have you single Latin women, because some of these men act the same. But I'm more particularly talking about black and Latin right now. What's going on, K. Cole? I'm talking about black and Latin men right now, because I see them as the most. Now, how many of y'all ever been out in public lately, and you got some black dude that's on the corner, he'll have 4 or 5 white people pass him, won't say anything. Won't say anything to him. How you doing, boss? Just like Steven in the thumbnail. How you doing? Y'all all right? Let me show y'all how to get there. You know that motherfucker. Oh, I help you with the cab. Don't worry about it, Miss Daisy. I'm here to help. But then if they see somebody of their own color, or more in fact, they see an old black woman, they see an old black man that's struggling with some bags, or during this pandemic when old people are not supposed to be out that much, ask them how many of them have knocked on an old elderly black person or Latin person's door and said, hey, is there anything I can pick up from the store from you? You need any help? Have you eaten today? I have an OG that calls me. His name is Will. I talk to Will every single morning. Will is 75 years old. He just turned 75, God bless him. Old black gentleman. And what made me come to this was something that he experienced this morning. It's not even me, it was something he experienced. Everybody hit those like buttons. Y'all don't like this. So he tells me he doesn't come out much. He said this morning, he said, I went to go get me a sandwich because I just wanted to get out of the apartment. He stays at an elderly place, 55 and up community. And so, you know, he doesn't come out too much because of the COVID restrictions and things like that, which I get. I have not been able to physically see him now in months because of his age and the facility he lives in, and, you know, and it saddens me. We've done some video chatting or whatever. It's not the same as seeing someone. And I really care about this gentleman as a friend. This man had his wife leave him. He helped raise her daughters. And subsequently, he ended up in a bad situation, now in the better. But to be 75 years old and sitting in a convalescent home and being an old black man who was originally from D.C., he went to go get him a sandwich this morning, and a black male that he said was probably had to be 40 literally started arguing with him and moved him out the way. And then when he started talking to the person that was serving the food, he had a whole total different demeanor. And I know I'm not the only person that's seen this. I've seen Latinos now try to replace what the approach black Americans were doing probably 40, 50 years ago. And they really think they're holding the rule over someone's head. And in reality, no, they're using you. They're using you for what you're worth. Now, if you have no problem with that, that's fine. But the rest of us that have been here for a very long time, we know what they're doing. They're using you as a new blue-collar workforce. And they're saturating. And they will work you to death for crumbs. For crumbs. And if you invest your money in the right places, that's cool. I choose to deal with mine in stock market. Fraction shares, like I always say, guys, fraction shares. Work your way up. It might be dollars and cents at first, but trust me, it will turn into complete dollars. These so-called men, especially that man that disrespected Will this morning, said one thing that stuck out to me that Will repeated to me. And he said, yo, I ain't worried about these beta male, man. I think it's like the beta male. You're talking to a 75-year-old man who has probably seen and probably had the same experiences you have had as a younger man at one time in his life. And the way you repay him is by disrespecting him and calling him a beta at 75 years old. No, son, you're a beta. Everything about you is a beta. And your mama or whoever you were hanging out with has taught you this structure. More importantly, you probably saw it on YouTube, has taught you this terminology and has somehow made you boost your low self-esteem. When we're dealing with these men or we're dealing with these women, I've had situations where I've been to Jersey and New York and Connecticut both. And anybody ever seen this one? Where you're walking down the street and someone will walk, they'll look right at you, walk forward a little bit, and then all of a sudden they'll start backing up so they can collide with you. Once they collide with you, then they can have an argument, yelling, make themselves feel good, whatever the situation is out of it. I've had women do this to me. I've had men do this to me. Doesn't bother me. I had it just happen last night. I've had people of color say the nastiest remarks. Oh, he think he all that. Think he better than us. Okay. And I'm absolutely walking by and saying nothing. This is all a form of low self-esteem. If you notice, you will notice there's no white people running around talking about, I'm an alpha. You'll notice there's no anybody of any other culture except for black and Latino guys running around talking about, I'm an alpha. And if you have to scream that, what it sends the message to me, or those that are a little bit more intelligent, is that you're actually weak and the weakest link in the bunch. If that was Kevin Samuels that made that comment or didn't, I don't care either way. What more important is the fact that the comment was made, and you made the comment seemingly trying to be an intelligence, and then you segue off and you didn't hear the response you liked and started acting like a jig. That's not an alpha. That's a tap dancer. Someone that doesn't know any better. Someone that wasn't raised any better. Someone that, more particularly, I find a waste of the culture. Now, ladies, I want you to do something, and men, I want you to do something too. Stop procreating with these motherfuckers. If you don't know what the word procreate means, that means stop having babies with these motherfuckers. Because their babies eventually lead up to the emulation of who they were. And now you have a continuation of this fuck shit. These wannabes. These alphas. You know, alpha and beta is really contention with the animal world. Did you know that? And the only reason it's used in human or Homo sapiens is to be definitive of science. That's the first thing. The term alpha and beta literally is contested with animals. So when you call yourself an alpha or you call yourself a beta, you are entering in the world of animals and insects and how they procreate. That's just why I mentioned this. Now, if you don't believe me, go online and look it up, and you'll see that the term alpha and beta refer to the animal world, not the human, Homo sapien world. So right then and there, we come to a halt where we're using words out of contention. We're using words where we don't know the definition of them truly, and we're carrying them on and saturating them through YouTube and acting like you lost your motherfucking mind. Now, I tell many of y'all, I ain't scared of nobody. Living here in this tri-state, you can't be scared of nobody. But I tell all you alpha males, and I don't give a fuck how big you are. I don't. I got something for you too. I want to tell you this much. If you're going to leave comments like that, leave your fucking address with it. Tell me what time your kids get out of school. Tell me what time your wife or your girlfriend that you live with 9 times out of 10 gets off work. And I then do will show you why they call me professional. Oh, I'll wait months. I'll wait a year. And anybody that knows me knows I got the jail record to match it. Like I said, before I got in the music industry, I was in the streets, heavily. One of the problems I think I had when I went back out to that town is it was 3 or 4 cops still on that force that remember me from those days. Old retired cops. You would not come to my page saying what you want. I'll block you. I'll report you. Whatever I got to do. But more importantly, stop saturating YouTube with this alpha and beta recognition. Because one, like I said, it goes to contention with animals. Please look that up. Specifically tigers, lions, and primates. You know, the leader monkey out of the troop is called the alpha. That's who you are. You're the leader monkey. Look it up. I'm not lying. You know, one of the best things about me that a lot of people say I'm intelligent is I always grew up like this. I think my intelligence helped me on the street because I never got caught until somebody told on me. You cannot and will not sit here and demoralize people because you feel that you're in a better position. Well, with many of you, based off COVID-19, its effects, the loss of joblessness, the rise of homelessness, the rise in evictions that are soon to come and are already happening with many people, the lack of food for many people that have to eat, etc., etc., etc. Oh no, you will not sit in my face and call me anything but what the fuck I am. Especially if you don't have the same resume. Now I'm going to leave off with Kevin Samuels. I want to say one more time, I am not attacking Kevin Samuels, and I had no intention to attack Kevin Samuels. And wherever you donate your money is where you donate your money. I prefer that you do me. Like today, I've got to travel. As you can see, this is one of the things I bought with my donations today, is that bag right there. I caught that bag on sale for $30, and I need another bag, so when I go get my other stuff, I can swap it into there. So that bag is pretty much empty. I came and got 2 or 3 pair of jeans and switched out and got this jacket, because the jacket I have is wool, and it was very hot and it's warm up here today. Attention to our customers. If you are done with your dollies, please bring it down to the first floor. Once again, if you are done with your dollies, please bring it down to the first floor. Thank you. Well, one of the main problems, I'll say again, guys, is this. If and when you hear this language or somebody talking about they're alpha, question them. How? Sway, how? And more importantly, ask them what they're doing to help people of color. And most of the time, you'll hear nothing. Let them help themselves. As Calvin Candy would tell them. You see what I mean? This ain't free, man. These Candyland slaves. And they don't even know it. These men are running around talking about they alphas and they this and they that or whatever. But in reality, when you break them down, that's your girlfriend's apartment. You ain't never had an apartment in your name. The light's on in your girl's name. You driving your girl's car. Your girl pay for the groceries when y'all go grocery shopping. You got Jordans on, but you can't cook. You got Jordans on, but you gonna help Shorty and help her move up after projects. You got gold chains on, but your kid's in rags. You an alpha? No, son, you the definition in the bottom barrel of what they call beta. And anybody that thinks like you is a beta. What I pointed out with Kevin Samuels last night is what many people pointed out, and I'll say it again. Why are we donating to multimillionaires? Why are we donating to people, and as that commenter said, collected $9,000 in one sitting? $9 grand. Go to my community section. I took a screenshot of it so you guys can see it. The true beta male, if you want to use that. And I don't like using that terminology, and it's misused at that. Like I said, once again, the term alpha and beta is to refer to those of the animal or insect kingdom, not to Homo sapiens. Please pass that along to the people. And let these unstudied, unaccomplished, uneducated people shut them the fuck up. This is what I mean by these people are spreading mistruths and selling you fallacies. Now, as far as Kevin Samuels is concerned, Kevin Samuels, I noticed that you have a disdain, and I think that you might be using your platform to get some vajay. And I'm not mad at you about that. Money ain't vajay. But as you say at the same time, a lot of these women are washed and they old. Kevin, I have to look at you and say, you look kind of headed towards elderly. Let's say that. You look like you probably are somewhere around about 55, 56. Maybe a little bit older. I can tell by the way you talk, you seem older. What's going on, Cincinnati? Star Pepper, what's going on, England? I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a lot of fake alpha talk out here. And, you know, Kevin Samuels, I just think that, you know, I know that might work for you. I don't know why people would donate. Maybe there's a lot of men and women out there that just like to see the total destruction publicly of their own. And it seems to be the themes of a lot of people. I even heard Charlamagne's punk ass talk about it the other day. Shout out to Charlamagne. You know who I am. I know who you are. We come from the same balls press. A lot of people don't know that, but we do. So does Wendy Williams. Hey, Wendy. Hey, girl. That's a strong fella right there, Wendy Williams. Shout out to Wendy. I'm going to throw up this clip. Ain't nobody ever liked Wendy Williams. I'm going to throw up this clip a little bit. Met the man talking about this broad about 15 years back. She's always been a problem. Kicked off multiple radio stations, Philly, where else? Maryland or D.C., somewhere down there. I couldn't stand her. Still don't like her. And all these fake alpha males are useless. They're worthless. They're clout chasers. They over there at Kevin Samuels' page right now, digging up under his ass because one, they like the money that he's collecting, which I can understand that, especially at these times. But two, more importantly, they over there because everybody's talking about it. They're not over there because they actually are interested in what he's saying. No, they like the deploration. They like the talk down. They like the, and for all mistakes and purposes, some of those women that come on there are delusional. But the long-lasting effects that he is going to have on some of those women, mentally, versus what he thinks, is going to be totally different. And that's the thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about these girls because many of them said that they have children. Many of them said that they have children. What they are going to adapt and what they're going to add to their children based on someone like Kevin Samuels, or many of them like him, or Cynthia G, or Tasha K, or Toxic Diamond. These are influencers, just like the regular mainstream TV shows that you see. They're influencers to your kids, but so is YouTube now. And I hope you guys keep that in mind and keep these fake-ass alphas, you know, the leaders of the animal kingdom and insect kingdom with thoraxes. You know what a thorax is? It's a little underbelly that extends from the back. It's just sad, man. This is really, really sad. Sometimes you even have to question yourself and be like, yo, am I really... Has anybody ever questioned themselves and said to themselves, and this will be honest, has anybody ever questioned themselves and been like, why are my people like this? Has anybody ever asked that question? I'm asking that question. Why are my people like that? Has anybody ever asked that question loudly? And most of the time you get an answer no. Because a lot of people are scared to ask that question. A lot of people are afraid to answer that question. A lot of people are afraid to even approach that question. And I don't know why. Ask yourself, if Kevin Samuels collected $9,000 the other night, how come he's not over at other people in need and donating to them? How come you don't take at least $2,000 in your local church or local facility or whatever, and go buy some things for people just randomly? I don't believe in people are people. I've seen too many good people in my life, Star Pepper. I've been around too many good people in my life, and ironically enough, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that people are donating to Kevin Samuels or people that have the type of formats that he do because they have good intentions as well. I believe that these people are donating to him simply because they see an opportunity to be seen. That's not an alpha male. That's a weak male. That's a bitch raised male, as Corey Holcomb would say, bitch raised. I know, Tall Pepper, I ain't got no beef with you. Stop it, girl. I'm talking about bitch raised men, okay? And when I say bitch raised, I ain't talking about the good women out here that raise their kids right, get them off to college, get them off the board, whatever, profession, doctor, or whatever. I'm not talking about those single moms. No, I'm talking about the single mom that sits around, listens to 50 Cent all day, smokes Newports, blunts, got a drink in her hand every 5 fucking minutes, lives on the 8th floor of the projects, and has no direction of leaving there ever except for that little 9-to-5 job that she has to mandatory work, because if she doesn't, she can't keep the Section 8 voucher programs or whatever. That's the bitches I'm talking about. And the piece of shit niggas are left. The alphas of the neighborhood. I was sitting outside smoking a cigarette one night. I think it was the night before last. And I was over by the house over in Jersey. And I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette. And as I'm smoking a cigarette, I think it was maybe 2 black girls walked up the street. And they walked past me, one of them whispered something, and I couldn't figure out what she was saying. And then the other one said, yeah, you know, motherfuckers don't even be living around here, da-da-da-da. And in all reality, I wasn't nowhere near the building. But still in all, the city run the building. You know, what the fuck is your problem? So about 2 minutes passed, I'm still smoking my cigarette, I'm damn near done. And one guy walks downstairs, and he walks right past me. And I speak to him, I said, how you doing, brother? He don't speak back. I said, oh, I'll get one of these. And he goes, the nigga. So he thought he was slick. But like I said, I would have done something like that at his age too. So something told me, said, look back. And he had two other guys with him. And they came from the left-hand side across the street, and they tried to play it off. Oh, we was looking for you, man. You ran off by yourself. I said, no, I seen y'all over there the whole time. Y'all was hoping I said something to him. And then when I said something to him, y'all would come across the street and then it would be on. Once again, sissy men. A lot of black men and Spanish men need to wake up and realize your character and your candor nowadays amongst your own is being looked at, examined, and a lot of people see it outside the culture. And now they're looking at you and being like, and this might be the reason why society, whether it be cops or whether it be whoever, that a lot of these guys are getting judged the way they are. And I find it impossible to believe that people are over at Kevin Samuels' page right now because they have good intentions. No, you have the intention of coming there and seeing women deplored. You have the intention of seeing women be demoralized. You have the intention of seeing these women, no matter how delusional they are. First of all, let's take a girl at 5 years old, right? 5 years old. And I've seen this before. Let's take a girl at 5 years old. And you say to this little girl, oh, you're too pale if she's Latina. Or you say, you're too dark if you're black. Or opposite, you're too dark if you're Latino. Or Latino as a boy. It starts putting the thing in your head. Yes, this goes on the Caribbean too. Don't let people lie to you. A lot of people, I'll tell y'all a secret as black Americans. A lot of people come up from the Caribbean and they're already racist as fuck because they have black populations there. So if you're talking about Colombia, if you're talking about Panama, if you're talking about Honduras, if you're talking about the Dominican Republic, even talking about Puerto Rico, they have their black populations within the culture. And they have their racist teams within the culture there. So once they get to America, they kind of extend that same mentality here, if that makes sense. So this is just in Latin culture too, so that's not bullshit. I'm part of Latin culture as well. These so-called alpha males that are out here are no more than sissy-raised mama's boys, as we would call them back when I was going to school. Sissy-raised mama's boys. And they become so dependent on their mamas that in some cases they hate their mamas so much that they now derive their attention to bother another women of color because they hate mama. I hate my mama. Kevin Samuels, I'm seeing a little sus in you, but I'm gonna let you continue on. I'm not gonna assault you, but I do see a little sus in you, Playboy. And I see a lot of sus in the followers that follow you. And I watched one in particular one, and I know that I'm not too far from off because a guy called in, and you wouldn't take his phone call. You actually hung up on him. And you said, this ain't a show for me. What the hell is it then? Guys, I'm out of here. I'll be back with you in a little bit. I just want to tell you this. Donate to whoever the hell you want to donate to. That's not the issue here. I am just so sick and tired of these sissy-ass men out here. And a lot of y'all see it too. And these troublemaking ass women along with them that hinder themselves from starting problems with people of other cultures. But when it comes to their own culture, they want to raise hell. And I have to ask the question, do we need to remove them from the culture by whatever means we need to do? And possibly their children too. Guys, the links are in the descriptions. I'm out of here. I got to hop on this train. I would hope that you donate humbly. If you don't, you can give it to give it to Kevin Samuels or any other multi-millionaire. You know, they need it. They out of work. The links are in the description. $STRINGERBELL80. I'm out of here, guys. And shout out to you alphas out there in the jungle.